In this video, we are going to cover the basic commands for Stata. So when you open Stata, this is what you see, and first you need to load some data. So to load the data, you go to File, Open, and you open your data file. You see that the different variables for the data are in the right-hand side, and here we have the wage, the education, the experience, and the tenure status for the people in our sample. If your file is not in the DTA format, usually you have to go to Import and find the right format, whether it's Excel or text file. Usually I have been quite successful with the unformatted text data when I import data from various institutions. Then once we have the data, we want to save what we do. So we're going to create a log file. The log file is basically going to save the output. So that's what we see in this main window here. So we go to log and begin the log. Let's call it log. And usually I prefer to save it in text format, not in a formatted log. And here we can see the corresponding command is log using and the file you want to save it to. So now everything I'm going to do, the output is going to be saved in that log file. So let's start with some very basic command. First, if you want to have some descriptive statistics, for instance, about the salary, the wage, we can write summaries wage. And here we see we have the number of observations, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum value and the maximum value for the wage. If we don't know or don't remember what this command is, we can always find it by going to Statistics, Summaries, Summary and Descriptive Statistics, and here we see we have more options. So sometimes we don't want just to summarize the wage, but we want some conditions or put some weights. So that's where you go to find the extended options. Another simple table of statistics you might want is a table of frequencies. So for that you have the command tabulate. And here we see that we have a table of frequencies. So for the hourly wage of 0.53, we have one observation with this wage, which represents 19% of the sample. And the last column is just the sum of all the previous percentage, so it's a cumulative percentage. So for instance, if I take 2.5 here, one person, 0.19, and they are 3.99% of the sample that have 2.5 or lower. When you see repeated values, it's likely that there are more digits after, but they are hidden. So let's go, we have to click more to go to the end of the table. If we want to create a new variable, so for instance, we have the wage, but we are interested in the log of the wage. We'll use this very important command, that's gen, which stands for generate, and then the new variable name, which will be lwage for log wage, equals, and then we enter the formula, so log wage. We can see here on the right hand side that it created a new variable, lwage, with the values we just generated. Note that you can create other variables that depends on many other variables. For instance, gen, how should we call it? Educ plus experience, so edx equals educ plus experience. And here we have a new variable that depends on two other variables. Now if you want some graphs, so for instance you want to see approximately the distribution of the wage, we can see what a histogram look like. So we enter the command histogram wage. It usually takes some time to compute. And here it created this nice histogram. Again, if you don't remember what the command is, just go to the menu and find, here it's right here, histogram. Otherwise you search for the command that looks like what you want to do. Another important graph is a scatter plot. So it's when you want to see how the point stands relative to two variables. So we are going to see that directly. So it's a two-way graph. And then we want a scatter plot. We want, for instance, wage and education. Of course, I didn't spell it correctly. And here we see we have years of education on this axis. We have the average hourly earnings here. And we have all the observation points on these dimensions. If you don't remember what this graph is, it's a two-way graph. And then you have to create a plot definition. Say I want a scatter plot. Here the y variable is the wage, the x variable is educ, and it will create automatically this command. Finally, sometimes you have a lot of commands and you don't want to type the same commands over and over. You can actually create a do file. So it's a file that contains these commands and that Stata will open one after the other. So to open a do file, it's like a script. You do file, do, select your file, and here it cannot load it because it's not the correct file location, but you can see if I open the file, that we have all the commands we want to use, and we can also add comments. So comments are lines that won't be read by Stata. So Stata open the file, see a star here at the beginning of the line, it will just skip this line. It will also skip any line that are between this symbol, so slash star, and until it finds a star and a slash. So Stata opens this file, skips the first line, then skip this whole block. Comments, 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 and this is the first command it will execute. So open this file, or go to, actually CD stands for change directory. It will go to that directory. It will start the log and then open the data. So use wage DDA and clear any variable that were loaded before. And then you have all the commands we went over, plus some new commands, regress. We will see these commands later. And at the end, it closes the log. So we open the log file at the beginning. We need to close it. For that, we go to File, Log, Close. And if I open the log file I just created, you see we have the output. So usually when you have to do assignments, it's important to join the log file so that the one grading the assignment knows exactly what you did. I hope this was helpful. If you have any question, you can just post it in the comment below the video, and I'll see you soon.